Event report: DOGE raids the Ministry of Finance. Musk reveals explosive information. Date: February 4, 2025. Location: Washington, D.C. Overview. Recent developments regarding Elon Musk's newly formed Department of Government Efficiency DOGE have ignited controversy and concern across the political spectrum. DOGE has reportedly gained access to sensitive Treasury payment systems, a move that raises significant questions about governance accountability and the potential for misuse of power in federal financial operations. Key developments. 1. Access to Treasury payment systems. According to multiple sources including the Associated Press and Yahoo News, DOGE has been granted access to critical Treasury payment systems that manage trillions of dollars in federal spending, including Social Security and Medicare payments. This access was reportedly sanctioned by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Musk has made bold claims regarding alleged inefficiencies and fraud within these systems, asserting that Treasury officials were instructed to approve payments without scrutiny. He claimed that payment approval officers had never denied a payment in their careers, implying systemic flaws that could enable fraud or funding to terrorist organizations. However, these claims have yet to be substantiated with concrete evidence. 2. Political reactions. Lawmakers have responded with alarm, particularly Senator Ron Wyden, a member of the Senate Finance Committee. He expressed concerns that DOGE's access could lead to politically motivated withholding of payments, threatening the integrity of government financial operations. The situation escalated further as former Treasury Deputy Secretary David Lebryk resigned in protest, stating that the Treasury's vital functions could be compromised by such access. 3. Social media and public commentary. Musk took to social media to comment on the unfolding situation, reiterating his claims about the Treasury's practices. His posts have received mixed reactions, with critics arguing that he is undermining the government's credibility while supporters see his actions as necessary reforms. Musk's rhetoric often evokes ideological debates about government efficiency and the need for systemic change, which he frames as a battle against bureaucratic inefficiencies. 4. Legal challenges. Advocacy groups have begun filing lawsuits against DOGE, alleging violations of privacy and concerns over the handling of taxpayer data. The legal challenges highlight the potential for significant backlash against the initiative as various stakeholders question the legality of Musk's access to sensitive information. Norm Eisen, a former White House ethics lawyer, has been vocal in representing these groups, emphasizing the need to protect sensitive personal information from unauthorized access. Timeline of events. January 20, 2025. President Trump signs an executive order to establish the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, with the mission of reducing government spending and eliminating inefficiencies. Late January 2025, reports emerged that Secretary Bessent has granted DOGE access to sensitive Treasury payment systems. February 2, 2025. Musk publicly claims that Treasury practices allow for fraudulent payments, prompting Senator Wyden to voice concerns regarding legal violations. February 3, 2025. Tensions rise within the federal government, leading to the resignation of former Treasury officials due to DOGE's controversial activities. February 4, 2025. Lawsuits are filed against DOGE citing privacy violations stemming from its access to taxpayer data. Implications and future considerations. The developments surrounding DOGE and its access to Treasury payment systems have significant implications for governance and accountability within the federal government. As Musk's team moves to implement reforms, the potential for conflicts of interest, misuse of power, and violations of privacy will be closely scrutinized. Concerns over governance. Musk's influence within the government, framed by some as a hostile takeover, raises questions about the appropriate balance between private interests and public accountability. Legal challenges ahead. The mounting legal challenges against DOGE may set precedents for how government transparency and access to sensitive information are regulated, particularly concerning private individuals' roles in government processes. Public sentiment. The public's response to Musk's actions will likely evolve with ongoing debates about the merits of government efficiency versus the risks posed by concentration of power and potential for abuse. In conclusion, the intersection of Musk's DOGE initiative with federal financial operations presents a pivotal moment for U.S. governance. As investigations continue and legal battles loom, the ramifications of this unprecedented access will reverberate through the political landscape, prompting essential discussions about the future of government efficiency and accountability. The content presents several counterintuitive elements regarding the evolving situation with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency DOGE and its access to sensitive Treasury systems. Below are the identified counterintuitive aspects. 1. Public trust versus private influence. One of the most striking counterintuitive points is the juxtaposition of Musk's private sector experience and the public's trust in his ability to effectively manage government efficiency. While Musk is widely recognized for his success with companies like Tesla and SpaceX, the idea that a private individual with no prior government experience should have access to critical government financial systems raises questions about the suitability of such influence. This creates a paradox where the public might expect efficiency from a successful businessman but simultaneously fear the implications of his unchecked power over public funds. 2. Claims of fraudulent payments. Musk's assertion that Treasury officials were instructed to approve payments without scrutiny even to fraudulent or terrorist entities is a bold claim that lacks substantiation. This situation is counterintuitive because it suggests a systemic failure in the government that Musk claims to be addressing, yet he offers no concrete evidence to support his allegations. The lack of evidence raises doubts about the credibility of his claims, contrasting with the urgency of his narrative regarding government inefficiency. 3. Legal and ethical implications. There is a tension between Musk's objectives of improving government efficiency and the legal and ethical boundaries that are being tested. Musk's access to the Treasury's payment systems has sparked concerns from lawmakers regarding potential abuses of power, suggesting that the very measures taken to improve efficiency could lead to significant risks and violations of privacy rights. This is counterintuitive because the drive for efficiency is typically seen as a positive goal, yet it concurrently generates potential legal chaos and ethical dilemmas. 4. Resignation of Treasury officials. The resignation of Treasury officials in response to DOGE's activities is another counterintuitive development. While the intention behind DOGE is to create a more efficient government, the immediate consequence is a loss of experienced personnel who are alarmed by the potential for politicization of payment systems. This outcome challenges the premise that efficiency will inherently lead to better governance, as it may result in instability and a lack of institutional knowledge. 5. Public response and legal action. The filing of lawsuits against DOGE by advocacy groups raises an unexpected turn in public sentiment. While one might assume that initiatives aimed at cutting government waste would receive broad support, the legal challenges highlight a significant concern over privacy violations and the potential misuse of taxpayer data. This reflects a counterintuitive disconnect where efforts to increase efficiency are met with legal resistance, indicating a lack of confidence in the motives and methods of those in power. 6. Musk as a special government employee. The classification of Musk as a special government employee allows him to work temporarily within the government while still holding significant financial interests in private companies. This arrangement is counterintuitive because it creates a potential conflict of interest, undermining the integrity of government operations. The notion that someone with vast business interests could directly impact federal systems designed to manage public funds raises serious concerns about governance and accountability. 7. The nature of DOGE's mission. While DOGE is positioned as a means to eliminate inefficiencies and reduce government spending, the implementation of its mission appears to be leading to increased tension, political strife, and potential legal battles. The idea that cutting programs and reducing staffing could lead to a more effective government is contradicted by the chaos and disorder that has arisen from its aggressive tactics. This suggests that the path to efficiency may not be as straightforward as proponents claim. These counterintuitive elements highlight the complexities and contradictions inherent in the relationship between private sector influence and public governance, particularly in the context of a high-profile figure like Elon Musk wielding substantial power within the federal government. The recent developments surrounding Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency DOGE and its access to sensitive Treasury payment systems reveal a landscape of significant implications and potential oversights that merit attention. While the mainstream narrative focuses on the audacious claims made by Musk and the ensuing uproar from lawmakers, certain critical aspects of this situation may be underestimated or overlooked by the public and analysts alike. 1. Access to sensitive financial systems. The most glaring and significant content in the reports revolves around DOGE's access to Treasury payment systems, which encompass Social Security, Medicare, and various federal payment systems. This access signifies a considerable shift in how government operations may be overseen, raising alarms about accountability and transparency. Critics, including Senator Ron Wyden, have expressed concerns that such access could facilitate the politically motivated withholding of payments, which could have dire consequences for vulnerable populations relying on these funds. Significance: the potential for misuse of this access is profound. Not only does it pose risks to the integrity of federal financial systems, but it also brings forth ethical dilemmas regarding how such power could be wielded. The implications of allowing a private entity, led by an individual with vast financial interests, to control or influence government payments are staggering. It blurs the lines between public service and private gain, raising questions about the future of governance in the U.S. 2. Claims of fraud and inefficiency. Musk's assertions that Treasury officials were instructed to approve payments without due diligence, even to fraudulent or terrorist groups, have sparked controversy. Despite the lack of substantiation for these claims, they reflect a broader narrative of a dysfunctional government bureaucracy that Musk aims to dismantle. His public statements on social media amplify this narrative, framing DOGE as a necessary corrective to perceived waste and fraud. Significance: the significance lies in the rhetorical power of Musk's claims. By framing the issue in dramatic terms, he captures public and media attention, which could lead to a push for reforms that may not be fully justified. This pattern of using sensational claims to mobilize political action can undermine rational discourse and lead to hasty policy decisions that may not consider the complexities of government operations. 3. Legal and ethical implications. The reports highlight the resignation of key Treasury officials amid tensions with DOGE, suggesting a profound disruption within government ranks. Former Treasury officials have voiced concerns over the legality of DOGE's access and the ethical implications of Musk's involvement in government processes. The establishment of DOGE as not a formal government department but rather a task force raises questions about its accountability and oversight. Significance: the resignations and reported clashes within the government indicate a fracturing of institutional trust. When long-serving officials feel compelled to resign over conflicts with a newly established entity led by a private individual, it raises alarms about the erosion of professional norms and the respect for established governance frameworks. This could lead to a chilling effect on whistleblowing and accountability within federal agencies, further compounding issues of inefficiency and corruption. 4. Potential for hostile takeover of government functions. Several sources have suggested that Musk's actions could be interpreted as a hostile takeover of federal functions, especially given his plans to access and potentially restructure agencies like USAID. This characterization reflects broader fears of privatization and the erosion of public oversight in critical areas of governance. Significance: such a characterization should not be dismissed lightly. The implications of a private individual exercising control over government functions, particularly in the realm of foreign aid and disaster relief, can lead to significant shifts in policy and operational priorities. This could jeopardize the nonpartisan nature of federal functions, particularly those that serve vulnerable populations and international obligations. 5. Impact on federal workforce and governance culture. Reports of DOGE's actions, including locking civil servants out of their systems, signal a dramatic shift in the relationship between government employees and the administration. By actively undermining the established workforce, DOGE could contribute to a culture of fear and uncertainty within federal agencies. Significance: the impact on morale and the working environment for federal employees could be long-lasting. A culture that promotes distrust and adversarial relations between government officials and the administration may lead to a decrease in job performance or reluctance to innovate, and a potential exodus of talented professionals from public service. This could diminish the quality of governance and public service delivery over time. 6. Civil liberties and privacy concerns. The lawsuits filed against DOGE by advocacy groups highlight significant concerns regarding privacy violations. The implications of granting access to taxpayer data without clear oversight or accountability mechanisms raise alarms about civil liberties and individual rights. Significance: this aspect of the report is particularly crucial as it underscores the ongoing struggle between government efficiency and personal privacy. The potential for misuse of taxpayer data by a private entity, especially one with financial interests in various sectors, could set a dangerous precedent for how government data is managed and safeguarded. It may also erode public trust in government institutions if citizens feel their personal information is vulnerable. Conclusion. In conclusion, while many reports focus on the sensational aspects of Musk's DOGE initiative and its claims of inefficiency within government, the overarching themes of governance, accountability, and the balance of power between public and private sectors deserve deeper scrutiny. The implications of these developments are vast and multifaceted, potentially reshaping the landscape of American governance in ways that may not yet be fully understood. As such, it is imperative for lawmakers, analysts, and the public to remain vigilant and critically assess the unfolding situation, ensuring that the pursuit of efficiency does not come at the expense of fundamental democratic principles and civil liberties. 1. Access to Treasury payment systems. The Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, led by Elon Musk, has gained access to sensitive Treasury payment systems, including those managing Social Security and Medicare. This unprecedented access raises significant concerns about the potential for misuse of this power, particularly fears of politically motivated withholding of payments as expressed by lawmakers like Senator Ron Wyden. The ability of DOGE to influence the disbursement of federal funds amid claims of inefficiencies and fraud within the Treasury system underscores the gravity of this situation and its implications for government accountability and integrity. 2. Claims of fraudulent practices. Musk has made bold claims regarding alleged fraudulent practices within Treasury payment systems, asserting that payment approval officers were instructed to approve payments without scrutiny even to known fraudulent entities. However, these claims lack substantiation, leading to questions about the credibility of his statements. The legal and ethical implications of these assertions are profound. They not only challenge the operational integrity of governmental financial processes but also reflect on the accountability of public officials in safeguarding taxpayer funds. 3. Legal and ethical concerns. The establishment of DOGE and its activities have triggered a series of legal and ethical concerns. The resignation of Treasury officials in response to DOGE's access, coupled with lawsuits filed by advocacy groups citing privacy violations, highlight the contentious nature of this initiative. The potential conflict of interest arising from Musk's dual role as a government advisor and a business magnate raises significant ethical questions, particularly around the possible intertwining of private interests with public governance. This situation exemplifies the challenges of oversight and accountability in an evolving political landscape. 4. Political and governance implications. The emergence of DOGE signifies a shift in how government functions may be managed, particularly through the lens of private sector efficiency models. This initiative, framed by Musk as a way to combat bureaucratic inefficiencies, could set a precedent for the privatization of government functions, leading to a hostile takeover of federal processes, as noted by critics. The implications of this shift are far-reaching, potentially altering the relationship between government and its constituents, as well as redefining the boundaries of authority and accountability in public service. The response from lawmakers and advocacy groups suggests a growing concern over the risks associated with such a radical approach to governance. 1. Watergate Scandal 1972 to 1974. The Watergate scandal was a major political scandal in the United States that occurred during the early 1970s, leading to the resignation of President Richard Nixon. The scandal began with a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex and the subsequent cover-up by the Nixon administration. As investigations unfolded, it was revealed that senior officials had attempted to cover up their involvement in the break-in, which led to widespread outrage and a loss of public trust in government institutions. The scandal highlighted the dangers of unchecked executive power and ultimately resulted in significant reforms designed to increase transparency and accountability in government. 2. Teapot Dome Scandal 1920s. The Teapot Dome scandal was a bribery scandal involving the administration of U.S. President Warren G. Harding. It centered around the secret leasing of federal oil reserves at Teapot Dome in Wyoming and Elk Hills in California to private companies without competitive bidding. The scandal came to light in 1922, leading to investigations that revealed corruption at the highest levels of government. The fallout from the scandal led to a public outcry for government reform and increased oversight of federal land and resources, culminating in significant changes to the management of federal leases. 3. Iran-Contra Affair 1980s. The Iran-Contra Affair was a political scandal in the United States during the Reagan administration involving the secret sale of arms to Iran, despite an arms embargo, with the proceeds being used to fund Contra rebels in Nicaragua. This covert operation was conducted without the consent of Congress, leading to outrage when the scandal was uncovered in 1986. Investigations revealed a complex web of deceit involving senior officials and raised serious questions about the legality of the actions taken by the executive branch. The affair resulted in several convictions of top officials and highlighted the need for greater checks and balances regarding foreign policy and military operations. The situation surrounding Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency DOGE and its controversial access to sensitive Treasury payment systems raises critical questions about the future of governance, regulatory oversight, and the intersection of private interests with public resources. As the landscape evolves, several key predictions can be made regarding the implications of these developments. 1. Increased legal and regulatory scrutiny. As DOGE continues to exert influence over federal payment systems, legal challenges are likely to multiply. Advocacy groups and unions such as the Alliance for Retired Americans are already mobilizing to contest DOGE's access to sensitive data, arguing that such actions violate privacy laws. Future lawsuits could lead to broader scrutiny of Musk's operations, potentially prompting federal courts to redefine the limits of access to government data by non-governmental entities. This could also inspire new legislation aimed at enhancing data protection and accountability within government processes. 2. Political polarization and backlash. The formation of DOGE and Musk's expansive claims about government inefficiencies are likely to exacerbate political polarization. Democrats and progressive groups view DOGE as a potential tool for political manipulation and fraud, while proponents argue it is a necessary step towards accountability and efficiency. This division could lead to intensified partisan battles in Congress, with significant implications for future governance funding and regulatory frameworks. Over time, this could result in the establishment of stricter oversight mechanisms for private involvement in public administration. 3. Transformation of government operations. Musk's approach to cutting government spending and eliminating perceived bureaucratic inefficiencies may lead to a fundamental transformation of how federal agencies operate. If DOGE successfully implements its initiatives, it could pave the way for a more privatized model of government efficiency where private sector principles are applied to public administration. This might involve a shift towards performance-based metrics for evaluating federal programs, potentially reshaping the priorities of government agencies. 4. Emergence of new governance models. The increasing influence of individuals like Musk within the government could inspire the emergence of new governance models that blend private sector efficiency with public accountability. As government agencies grapple with technological advancements and the need for rapid adaptation, we may see more initiatives that leverage private expertise to enhance government functions. This shift could lead to a re-evaluation of the roles and responsibilities of public servants as well as the nature of public-private partnerships. 5. Heightened public distrust. As Musk's activities raise ethical and legal questions, public trust in government institutions is likely to decline further. The perception of an unelected shadow government operating outside traditional oversight mechanisms may lead to widespread skepticism about the integrity of federal operations. This distrust could manifest in public opinion polls affecting voter behavior and engagement in the democratic process. Consequently, future administrations may need to prioritize transparency and communication to rebuild public confidence in governance. 6. Innovation in technology and data management. With DOGE's focus on efficiency, there is potential for increased innovation in government technology and data management practices. The push for streamlined operations may foster collaborations with tech companies to develop advanced systems for tracking government spending, managing payments, and enhancing data security. However, this could also raise concerns about the privatization of public data and the ethical implications of corporate involvement in government decision-making. 7. Long-term implications for social programs. The access that DOGE has to critical systems managing Social Security and Medicare payments could signal a shift in how these programs are administered. If Musk's team pursues aggressive cost-cutting measures, it may lead to significant changes in eligibility, funding, and delivery of social services. The potential for politically motivated withholding of payments, as warned by lawmakers like Ron Wyden, raises concerns about the future of support for vulnerable populations. Conclusion. The future of governance in the context of DOGE's actions is uncertain and fraught with challenges. As legal battles unfold and political tensions escalate, the implications of Musk's initiatives will likely reverberate throughout the federal landscape. The blending of private interests with public resources may redefine traditional governance structures, raising critical questions about accountability, efficiency, and the role of technology in public administration. Stakeholders across the political spectrum will need to engage in thoughtful dialogue to navigate these complexities and shape a governance model that upholds democratic values while embracing innovation.